Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
All right, that breaking news this morning. Omaha police say one person died. Two others are in critical condition after a bad crash in the metro. We're giving you a look at the scene there. You see first responders there looking things over. This happened near 13th and M Street. Authorities say the single car crash happened just before 2:30 this morning. Speed is being investigated as a potential cause for the crash. Stay with First Alert 6 as we work to learn more information. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 Streaming. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. Talking about more chance for some storms today.
Yeah, I got a few on the map now. I think we get a few more developed this afternoon. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on the radar. Thank goodness none of this looks all that strong or severe over the course of the day today, but there is a low risk of a couple of these picking up a little steam. 71 degrees. It's humid out there. Dew point is 69. So that's really not going to change much today. And that'll be the fuel for some of these thunderstorms to use. And you got a couple approaching the metro right now, right along 204th Street. This little one here, just southwest of the 204th and Dodge intersection in the Elkhorn area. A couple of lightning strikes in the last 10 minutes. This back here southwest of Valley as well and south of Fremont. Moving northeast. Just some really spotty thunder showers. Nothing severe with any of these, but a little downpour right as you're trying to start your day along 204th. These will drift northeast, so bringing a little additional rain to the area. More south of Lincoln towards Beatrice too, and that's why we just can't take the chance of rain out at any point this morning. The main batch is up here, but there's still these little individual cells that are feeding up into it. So that makes just a random thunder shower possible here at any point this morning on the map. Now, later on today, they'll try to organize a little bit more, and I think the noon to 4 o'clock window is the one to watch here. The 1 out of 5 on the severe weather risk map shows us that these will continue to march east, and with new development, maybe an organized line and a little bit of wind trying to kick out from these. So that's the main risk here. Low risk of a few wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. Tornado threat is actually going to be well to the northeast as I backtrack here. To see this yellow shaded area outside of our viewing area, that's where the greatest tornado threat is. Hail should be small if there is any. Again, not a huge issue, much like we've had this week. And most of these have stayed below severe limits with a little bit of wind at times. So there's your storm chances. Minimal this morning, but they do pick up some into the afternoon, and that's when the greatest chances of a strong to severe storm are as well. Let me show you how this kind of progresses. You can see these spotty showers through 9, maybe a little bit more development occasionally towards noon. And then there's the lunch hour. A little cooler north, warmer south, and you have temperatures that, well, they're enough of a difference that we fire up some storms. Now, the best odds, I think, for these to really get going, maybe more on the Iowa side. It should be south of I-80 on the Nebraska side, just given the angle of these, but 3, 4, 5 o'clock, you get some wind potentially within 1 or 2 of these, and that's what we'll have to watch. Some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts racing east, 60 to maybe 70 miles per hour. It'll bring some cooler air, a little bit more rain on top of what we've had, but these should be fast-moving enough that hopefully we don't have any flash flooding issues. By 6, 7 o'clock, they're done, and this is an afternoon round that scoots out quickly, and then overnight tonight, it's pretty quiet. You don't have to worry about overnight storms waking us up or causing any flooding issues. That suggests there could be a little fog by tomorrow morning. We'll watch for that Friday morning and see if there's a little bit of that in the area to contend with. But overall, additional rainfall through noon, mostly to the northwest with that bigger batch of rain. And then as we progress through the afternoon, you get a little bit more that moves on through, and they could have some additional thunderstorms that produce a little bit. Now, Memorial Park concert, with all the rain this week, you're worried, is that going to continue? Thousands of people there, I don't think have anything really to worry about. Upper 80s for a high to near 90, and then a small chance of a storm, but I think that's probably even after the fireworks. Okay. That would be people trying to walk home or get to their car, or maybe some of the vendors shutting things down.
Okay, well, that's pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. What about after the concert for the rest of the weekend? What kind of rain chances do we need to know about?
The next one would probably be Sunday night, if there's going to be anything. In between that, it's likely to be pretty warm and humid, so you're almost Friday forecast. There's the 90 for Friday, 94 Saturday, 93 on Sunday. Trending hotter for those 2 days. I will say that the PM storm chance on Sunday is probably leaning more towards evening. Muggy meter, well, it takes a little dip Friday, jumps back up Saturday, Sunday. So we pair that up with the 90s. Yeah, that's something to watch. It should back off a little bit next week. But the peak heat index heading towards Saturday and Sunday could get up near 100 for a few hours in the afternoon. So watch for that this weekend. Noteworthy heat if you're out and about. 90, 94, 93 like we talked about next week. Starting off a little cooler, upper 80s. Right now, nothing all that ominous for the 4th of July weekend. Some models suggest a little bit warmer 90s. We'll see how that goes as we get a little bit closer, but that's the story here short term. We got to watch for more storms today. Again, not a widespread severe risk, a lot like the last few days. Just got to watch out for one or two. Most of these have just been behaving and giving us some rain.
Yeah, not too bad. Okay, Rusty, thanks. In the meantime, we've been following this really bad crash that happened earlier this morning, but let's get an update on the traffic impacts it could be causing.
Yeah, we've had for quite a while at least a partial closure, and for a little while a full closure on 13th there as a result of that crash. And the latest update that we have is that northbound had reopened and southbound was still closed. However, I'll tell you, based off of what I'm seeing on the maps, it would not at all surprise me if they've just reopened southbound. This is looking a whole lot better on the map. So that's where things stand. We definitely have northbound reopened, and I suspect that southbound has just within the last couple of minutes reopened as well. So I'll keep an eye on that. If I get official word on that, I'll give you a first alert to that. But if you don't want to mess around with it at all, what you can do is use 24th or use the JFK. Now, I will say 24th is starting to show some signs of slowing down, so the JFK may be the play here, especially if you're heading southbound. But again, I'll keep you posted on all the latest. If I do get enough confirmation that southbound has reopened, I'll let you know about that. Rusty mentioned some of those showers that are trying to make their way into western parts of the metro. You can see, there we are, 204th West Dodge. We've got the rain coming down, so make sure you turn on the headlights. Not everybody here is following along with the rules of the road here. You want to have those headlights on if you are driving in the falling rain. And there's where you can see along different stretches of 204th down around Nebraska Crossing, Gretna area. You may also be seeing a little bit of some rain, and we'll have the chance for a couple of spotty showers here over the next few hours, mainly off to the west. So wipers might be needed briefly while that's moving its way through those spots early this morning.
All right, Jared, thank you. Update to a story that we have been following. The suspect in a shooting that put a 16-year-old girl in the hospital made his first appearance in court. James Gray Wilson Jr. was formally charged with attempted robbery and weapons charges. His bond is set at $250,000. The shooting happened near 14th and Katy. Investigators say this was an apparent drug deal gone wrong.
Well, two teens will stay behind bars after having their bond denied. A judge charged 18-year-old Tamari Neal on several counts, including murder. A 16-year-old was also charged as an adult with murder. The third suspect, 18-year-old Kentorian Gunn, was charged as an accessory. Police found 19-year-old Ashton Fletcher shot to death near 62nd and Camden. Another person was hurt. A scary situation that could have been much worse.
Rafael Gomez Hernandez is charged with child enticement. Two kids claim they were walking near 48th and Pacific when a man rolled his window down and asked them to get inside. The kids went to a nearby house to get help, and that man reportedly sped off. Police tracked down Gomez Hernandez about an hour later. His bond is set at $150,000.
Well, for many in the prison system, a second chance can feel impossible. Well, Jermaine Wilson had multiple run-ins with the law.
He signed up for the Prison Fellowship Academy. The organization gives incarcerated people a second chance. After leaving prison, Jermaine returned to Leavenworth, Kansas. In 2017, he successfully ran for city council. A couple years after that, he became the mayor.
The most rewarding and important thing was it provided a first chance to my son who was once 8 months old when I first went to prison. He's now 18 years old. And to see my son standing right beside me and saying, "Dad, I am proud of you," that was the most rewarding and fulfilling moment I ever had in my life.
I love that story.
It's such an inspirational story. He was reelected to office back in 2021. Prison Fellowship Program has programs across the 9 state prisons in Nebraska.
All right, happening today, Metropolitan Community College will break ground on its new Sarpy County campus. So this is MCC's first full-service campus edition in 45 years. The event starts at 10 o'clock this morning, and we'll be right back after this short break.
All right, welcome back to 7:14 as we begin this Thursday morning. We've been tracking these storms for today and for tomorrow, but also let's check the steamy forecast.
Yeah.
The mugginess is back.
Every little bout of rain just adds a little more out there, and it's going to be humid all day today. Even though the temperatures are going to be cooler, we made it to 92 yesterday. We'll go mid-80s today because of the rain moving through, but it's still going to be muggy along with that. So not exactly open the windows type of weather as we stay in the low end of the steamy range during the course of the day today. Low 70s right now, got a couple of 60s hanging on, but for the most part, we're going to see these temperatures climb. It'll always be a little warmer southeast, a little cooler northwest over the course of the day today because of where the rain's starting off anyway. Right now, 90th and Dodge, pretty dry. We're going to warm up through the 70s into the mid-80s and expect the temperature to bounce around a little bit this afternoon, just given how the thunderstorms move through. So I'm trying to time up the cooler air with some of the storms, but this could vary a little bit. Just remember, we're going to move around a little with some of these thunder showers. This is a live look at First Alert Radar. There's 204th Street right there, and you can see some showers that have just passed over it, heading more towards 144th, 132nd as they march to the east and northeast. So they're approaching the 680 interchange very, very shortly here. Just this little batch of showers. Had a little lightning in those, 20 minutes ago. Not the case now. Another thunder shower here near the Louisville area, lifting northeast. So that'll move through Sarpy County. And that's kind of the way the map looks. You just steadier rain to the northwest, and then a few showers or thunder showers that dot the map to the south. And that's why we just can't take the rain chance out entirely today. But as the storms move southeast, they got a little better potential of producing some stronger storms today as we heat up. So noon to 4 o'clock's the window to watch for maybe a wind gust that picks up a little bit. Greater tornado threat up here in this yellow shaded area, at least according to the latest outlook. And it makes sense just given the way the atmosphere is setting up and where this storm system's passing. So small chances this morning. They pick up some this afternoon, and those have the potential to be a little stronger. There's that batch of rain to the north. Looks a little more ominous on models than it is. 9 to noon. You see some spotty stuff. It just can't ever shut the rain off entirely on the map. So you got a lot of 80s on the map by then. There's the new storms. This model suggests about 2 to 3 o'clock they fire up and march southeast. By 5, still some left. 6 and 7, they're pretty much out of here. But we'll watch those to produce some wind gusts occasionally. Heavier rain to the northwest this morning into the afternoon and evening. That's where that line marches through, and that's where some of the heavier totals will end up being in our Iowa counties down into northwest Missouri from this last little bout of rain that we have left in this pattern. Then tomorrow, shouldn't have any rain to worry about. Near 90 for the high. On Friday, upper 80s to near 90, small chance of a storm very late, probably after the concert and the fireworks are even done. Maybe more of an overnight thing if there's going to be anything. Saturday and Sunday, up into the 90s. It's hot, a little humid this weekend, and the next chance of storms likely lines up late Sunday. Sometime Sunday evening as you're getting ready to head back to work on Monday. That's the time to watch for a couple of storms. But overall, a lot of summer right there in the short term of that forecast.
Yeah, sure looks like it. Okay, so we've seen all the tents going up. People have 4th of July on the brains. What's the forecast looking like?
Yeah, I know, fireworks tents all over the place. Yep. Right now, pretty standard summer stuff. A couple of models suggest things a little warmer by next weekend. Yeah, showing up there on the 10-day. So right around 90 right now, spotty storms to be expected that far out. I don't think there's anything that really sticks out right now, temperature-wise or even as far as heat goes. But you look at the dew point forecast, lining up with the heat this weekend, that muggy meter spikes, and then it drops back at least for the first half of next week. And that's what we'll watch to see maybe if that upticks a little bit and becomes really humid again by 4th of July weekend. Again, pretty standard 4th of July stuff here. Nothing that jumps out right now. We'll see if the temperatures trend a little warmer by the time we get there.
All right, Rusty, thanks. In the meantime, you're tracking a vehicle fire this morning?
Yeah, this is just came in on Dodge. It's actually right around Memorial Park where this is taking place. Wow. So we could take a look at where we have this mapped out on the maps here, and it is right around where Farnham forks off from Dodge. So you can kind of see some of the delays that are showing up as the scene kind of gets worked here. Westbound traffic showing some delays, and you've also got Farnham with some delays around here. So watch for emergency crews that are going to be heading in this direction. Again, this just came in, so it wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing some deeper colors, oranges, reds show up if this is a situation that is continuing to evolve. So we'll keep you posted on the latest on that. But first alert that that's an area where you could get slowed down. If you really want to avoid it, you could always go to a different part of the metro. Still got some of those showers that are in place right now. There you can see those 144th and West Dodge. That's pretty wet stuff. Have those headlights on.
All right, Jared, thanks. Preparations are underway for quite the party at Memorial Park, as we were just talking about.
Yeah, the annual Memorial Park concert and fireworks show set for tomorrow. Omaha Parks Department's been getting things ready for the tens of thousands of concert goers. Officials say the weather made preparations a bit challenging this year. Fencing, though, is going up to keep everyone safe.
The fencing in the park is for walkways, so we can have a good way for people to get in and around the park. Because at 5 in the morning on Friday, people can come set up their blankets for the show and kind of pick their spot.
Well, the show starts with a national anthem that is at 6:30. Ringo Starr will take the stage around 8:30. The fireworks will follow. As always, the concert's free.
Some reminders before the 4th of July holiday. The Omaha Police Department wants to remind you about the city's fireworks rules. Sales start Saturday. They go until the 4th. You can set off fireworks in the city from July 2nd through the 4th between noon and 11 o'clock p.m. Those 16 and up can light fireworks by themselves, but kids between the ages of 12 and 15, you must have an adult with you. Dominating in the world of wine.
We'll tell you which country triumphed as this year's grape goats when we return.
One day only. Earn a 40-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver for every $60. That's a 40-cent fuel saver for every $60 you spend in-store and online. Thursday only, and only at Hy-Vee.
Well, France is raising a glass as yet again the country dominating the world of wine.
I'm not surprised, are you?
No.
No. Okay, so France reigned supreme at the 2025 Decanter World Wine Awards. It picked up 3,200 medals and 14 Best in Show competitions. Champagne alone scored 27 honors. Italy and Spain were strong, each picking up more than 2,000 awards this year. Canada also made the list with an ice wine that costs up to $250,000 a bottle. Now that was a surprise. Wow. Canadian wine.
That's like $249,080 more than I spent on a bottle of wine.
No kidding. 2,000 awards? How many awards? Was this like a 14-day long award ceremony?
It must have been.
I know.
It must have been.
Favorite kind of wine? Do you guys have a preference?
A good tasting one. I don't know. I don't drink a ton of wine, so.
Yeah, reds.
Reds.
Yeah. What about you?
Anything?
Anything?
Yeah. I know some people are very like One of the, yeah.
Not a huge wine connoisseur,
okay.
no.
Maybe
Okay.
a Cabernet.
A beer. It's my favorite kind
There
of
you go.
I tend to lean whiskey, so.
All right, well.
You do you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your Thursday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Thursday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
I'm Aaron Hartley. Let's get an update on now what's being called a crash with Jarrett Lansford.
At 50th and Dodge is where you're seeing this one vehicle in the road. Just had one of our coworkers drive through this and kind of supplying some of the information, includes some debris that's in this area. You can see how the delays are really starting to expand as you're heading eastbound in this area. So this might be a good time to try to consider an alternate route to avoid that area. You could use Underwood, you could head down to Farnham, try to make your way through those areas and avoid what you're seeing with that crash there, 50th and Dodge. You've also got delays starting to expand as you head through the construction zone. You've got a little bit of some showers that are making their way through. Let's check in with Rusty on the latest.
Yeah, just had one of those showers pass right over 144th and Dodge, as you can see here, and still some raindrops falling, but the pavement is soaked. Could have a little bit of lightning with this one. We're at 71 right now. Rain trying to cool us off a little bit, but there's that shower there. There's 680, so it's heading towards right over 680 in Dodge at the moment with some torrential rain, and then that heads up towards the Irvington area too. So that's bubbled up a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if it tries to kick out a little lightning here in the next 5 minutes, and then there's a few more down passing through the Sarpy County area. So there's the morning rain. Pretty spotty though. But chances there nonetheless all the way through the morning. You can see how this area extends all the way back west of Lincoln, where within those clouds we could get some spotty showers. Steadiest rain is to the north, and then after lunch, potential for some of those to strengthen a little bit more, with wind gusts being the main issue. So small chances this morning of about what we have out there right now. We'll climb to 86 between any of the rain. Aaron?
Breaking news we have been following this morning. A person is dead, 2 in critical condition after a bad crash this morning in the metro. This happened just before 2:30 this morning near 13th and M. Authorities are investigating speed as a possible factor. We will make sure to update you as soon as we know more.
It is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in 25 minutes.